Imagine dedicating your life to building the perfect plural marriage only to watch it crumble around you. The man who promised multiplied love now admits it was all a disaster. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'm revealing the shocking truth about Cody Brown's polygamy experiment. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second. Hit that subscribe button right now and join the family so you never miss the inside story. Accountability is the thread that runs through this entire story like a taut wire waiting to snap. Because for years, Cody Brown presented himself to the public as the confident architect of plural marriage, a lifestyle he claimed was divinely inspired, a path to multiplied love and bigger, better life. And yet, what unfolded over the last 15 years tells a very different story than the one he sold to audiences nationwide. From the very beginning, Cody was not just selling a family structure, he was selling himself as a patriarch, as a leader, as a man who had cracked the code of balancing multiple wives and children. And for a while, that performance was convincing. He spoke with authority about sacrifice, about selflessness, about the spiritual benefits of plural marriage, about how love could be expanded if properly managed. And viewers watched as he displayed charisma, confidence, and a carefully crafted image of control. Yet beneath the surface, cracks were forming quietly, steadily. And while he publicly preached the principles of equality, fairness, and shared decision-making, his own behavior suggested a different truth. And here the tension begins to build, because the man who insisted on standards of emotional balance and devotion repeatedly failed to uphold them. As time passed, favoritism became visible, not just to insiders, but to the camera and to the audience at home. And when Cody described his marriage to Robin as intense, overwhelming, and life-changing, it was more than romantic confession. It was a structural disruption that fundamentally challenged the principles he claimed were essential for plural marriage to survive. And as he admitted, falling in love with Robin effectively broke the rules of the system, he revealed the very weakness at the heart of the experiment, the thing that would later prove catastrophic. And the drama escalates further when you consider that he had earlier claimed his marriages to Mary, Janelle, and Christine were based on covenants and duty, not passion. And yet with Robin, he experienced a depth of connection that overshadowed the rest, creating an imbalance that would ripple across the family unit. And the suspense mounts because plural marriage relies on perception as much as practice. When one wife is visibly favored, when rotation schedules become difficult to maintain, and when presence concentrates in one household, the audience immediately senses inequity. And in Cody's case, this perception became reality during the COVID pandemic, when he isolated primarily with Robin and her children, leaving the other households to fend for themselves, emotionally and practically. And the effect was devastating, because plural marriage is more than logistics, it is an emotional ecosystem. And when one part is neglected, the entire system suffers. And the viewers watching on television could feel the tension rise as each episode revealed cracks that widened silently yet unmistakably. And when Cody later admitted that after decades of experience, he now had zero answers, that moment reframed the entire narrative, from one of confident advocacy to public confession, from certainty to reconsideration. And it is in this admission that the loop forms, because the more he explains how he failed, the more the audience is drawn into the story, wanting to understand why the man who preached multiplied love could allow such imbalance to define his household. And the story becomes almost cinematic, because you can visualize the separate homes, the divided attention, the children caught in the middle, and the sisters who once sought connection but found distance. And the tension tightens further when he acknowledges disappointment in the relationships with his children, admitting that he should have done better, but then walking back accountability later, creating oscillation between vulnerability and defensiveness. And that oscillation keeps viewers hooked, because the narrative never settles into a single explanation. It loops between confession and justification, between regrets and rationalization. And even as Cody claims to have moved on to monogamy with Robin, the irony is striking, because the wife he truly loved is now in a system she once said she never wanted, permanent. And this audiences are left wondering whether happiness is truly achievable, or whether this story is an ongoing case study in the consequences of imbalance. And this is compounded by the very public scrutiny under which this family has existed. Every misstep amplified, every emotion broadcast, and every favoritism magnified. And viewers cannot look away because the spectacle is paired with real consequences. The 18 children and the emotional fallout provide stakes that transcend mere gossip. And the suspense is heightened by the fact that Cody has historically claimed moral and spiritual authority over his plural marriage teachings, yet his admissions now undermine the credibility of his entire journey, creating tension between what he taught and what he lived. And this tension fuels the loop, because each revelation about favoritism, mismanagement, or regret leads to further questions about responsibility, leadership, and the viability of the system itself. And when Cody explains that love cannot simply be multiplied when passion overwhelms duty, the audience experiences the conflict at a visceral level, because it is not only a personal failing, it is a structural warning about the limits of human control in complex relational ecosystems. And as the narrative continues, each previous assertion he made is reframed in light of new confessions, the confidence of early seasons contrasted with the exhaustion of later years, creating suspense and anticipation, because viewers are left asking what will happen next, who will speak up, which relationships will survive, and which bonds will fracture further. And in this tension, the story finds its momentum, the highs of early promises juxtaposed with the lows of reality, keeping audiences glued. And the cycle of accountability, failure, confession, and rationalization becomes the very loop that drives engagement, compelling viewers to continue watching as each layer of complexity unfolds, revealing both personal and systemic challenges. And as Cody reflects on generational patterns, seeing his father with 3 wives and recognizing the attempts and failures of the past, the story takes on a cautionary dimension that blends personal drama with broader lessons about the risks of idealism untempered by equitable action and responsibility. And the dramatic irony escalates because the audience has witnessed not only the outcomes of decisions, but also the intentions behind them. And the misalignment between promise and execution creates a suspenseful tension that makes it difficult to look away. And the narrative is reinforced through emotional confessions, showing weeping apologies and moments of visible favoritism that serve as tangible evidence of imbalance, while interviews with other family members amplify the stakes, showing the ripple effects across households and children and sister wives. And this intersection of confession, consequence, and human emotion forms the narrative loop, where each revelation raises new questions about ethics, responsibility, leadership, and love. And as Cody continues to alternate between claiming he was inexperienced and later asserting he has learned lessons, the audience remains in suspense, caught between empathy, curiosity, and judgment. And the story continues to unfold, not as a static account, but as a dynamic process where relationships evolve under scrutiny and where each new statement potentially reshapes the understanding of past events. And in this suspenseful structure, every detail matters. The rotation schedules, the separation of homes, the prioritization of one relationship over others, the long-term implications for children, all become part of a continuous dramatic tension, and the viewers are compelled to follow every beat because the consequences are real and the lessons are universal. And this combination of personal confession, structural failure, emotional fallout, and ongoing public interest creates a story that is impossible to skip, impossible to ignore, and impossible to predict. And this is the essence of why the narrative captivates, because each revelation leads to anticipation for the next consequence, the next confession, the next twist in the tale. And even as Cody professes contentment with monogamy, the past continues to echo, leaving viewers suspended in a loop of reflection, suspense, and speculation. And it is precisely this careful interweaving of personal drama, systemic failure, and emotional stakes that makes the story both shocking and compelling, that holds the audience from beginning to end, that compels them to question loyalty, love, and leadership in plural marriage, while remaining emotionally invested in the individuals who are living through consequences that are both private and publicly broadcast.
And this is the first part of a story that blends confession, consequence, and suspense into a narrative loop designed to keep viewers engaged on every level. And it is only by understanding this tension between intention, action, and outcome that the depth of the drama can truly be appreciated, because the human stakes are as high as the moral and structural stakes. And Cody Brown's journey provides a vivid and dramatic exploration of that collision between ideal and reality. And as the story continues, it leaves viewers asking the most compelling questions about accountability, leadership, love, and the limits of human endurance in a system that promised everything yet delivered so unevenly.
As the narrative moves forward, the tension escalates, because now we begin to see the full scope of Cody Brown's failures, not just as a husband, but as a father and as a public advocate for plural marriage, the very principles he promoted for decades, unraveling before the audience in ways that are both shocking and painfully human. The stakes increase because the audience has already invested in the promise of multiplied love and unified households, and now they witness how imbalance, favoritism, and lack of accountability create a domino effect that impacts every member of his family. And this is where the suspense tightens, because every choice Cody made created ripples of consequence. Every moment of absence, every preferential treatment, every emotional imbalance was observed by the public and internalized by his wives and children, shaping their perception of family, safety, and fairness. And even as Cody attempts to explain his decisions, framing them as emotional inevitabilities or as lessons learned, the audience cannot escape the reality that these are choices with real impacts. And when he admits that his marriage to Robin fundamentally disrupted his ability to maintain equity among his wives, the confession lands like a thunderclap, because it validates what viewers have suspected all along, that one passionate connection can destroy the delicate architecture of plural marriage. And the narrative becomes almost unbearable in its intensity, because each revelation is compounded by prior knowledge of the other relationships, the emotional neglect, the fractured communication, the children's confusion, and the sense that a once promising system has collapsed under the weight of unaddressed favoritism and personal desire. And as Cody continues to recount his journey, reflecting on the years of public scrutiny, the early television seasons, the carefully constructed image of mastery and control, the audience is caught in a loop of anticipation, because they know the outcome will be dramatic, but the path to the conclusion is filled with suspense, each confession a pivot, each admission a new lens through which to understand the previous chaos. And the story achieves a hypnotic pull because it is a mixture of human vulnerability, systemic failure, and public spectacle. And viewers cannot help but feel both empathy and judgment simultaneously as they watch a man who once preached the doctrine of multiplied love struggle to reconcile personal passion with structural responsibility. And every moment of the narrative reinforces the central tension, because Cody's own words betray the contradiction between what he claimed he could achieve and what he actually accomplished. And the audience is left asking what it truly means to lead a plural family when personal desire disrupts communal obligation. And when he speaks about his regrets about not building deeper connections with some of his children, about not maintaining equitable attention among his wives, the suspense deepens, because those admissions are layered over decades of public performance, creating a complex emotional calculus for viewers who are trying to reconcile intent with impact. And as Cody reflects on his early confidence at 25 compared to his experience at 55, when he claims to have zero answers, the dramatic irony is palpable because it exposes the limits of youthful certainty when confronted with the complexity of. And there you have it, the shocking truth about Cody Brown's plural marriage experiment, the favoritism, the failures, and the heartbreak that followed. This story isn't over yet, and neither is the drama. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss the next explosive update on your favorite reality stars. And join the family, because the next chapter is coming and you'll want to see it first.